Hey guys, end of the week, just wanted to check in with you. I know this has been a kind of crazy emotional week with all of the craziness with the masks. It seems like the world has gone mad and we've been kind of up and down and heard every side of that. And you know, it's one of those things you just think about your individual health. It's your responsibility. You know, it is up to you, the health response that you have and the health of your immune system and how you take care of yourself. And so, you know, it's one of those things for people to wear masks or not wear masks, to eat junk food, eat processed food, eat a bunch of sugar, you know, all of those things, and then complain one way or the other with the mask. Just doesn't necessarily always make sense. And I put in the title is just questioning your leaders. And you know, that's the thing, is you've got to. I think it's so important. We've always got to search, and we have to be critical, and we have to ask the right questions of our leaders. You know, if you're trusting me to lead you in your health decisions and to lead you on your health journey, I expect you to ask hard questions. I expect you to ask where I'm coming from and why I believe what I believe and why I'm leading you that way. But you know, it also goes the same way with our medical community. And so many times I think we drop the ball on that. I mean, if you think about this, if you look at, with all of this COVID stuff and all of the fear and all the anxieties that are going around that, you know, we've got a medical system and a public health system that for the last 40 years has allowed obesity to skyrocket, it's allowed type 2 diabetes to skyrocket, has allowed heart disease, cancer, strokes. Oh, and by the way, those are all the things that make you more susceptible to COVID. So you've got this healthcare system, and the reason for that is that it's not about, their issue's not about building health. They're about fighting disease, and that's really not what they do. And so you've got to ask those questions. I mean, there's a study out there, and it shows that if you've been getting the flu shot for the last few years, you're more susceptible to respiratory illnesses like COVID. So you've been following this healthcare system, and we're not getting healthier and healthier as we go. We're getting sicker and sicker, and we're getting more obese and having more diabetes and heart disease and cancer. And at some point, we just have to say, oh, what's going on? And let's maybe take a different approach. You know, and so again, I just wanted to encourage you guys, question your leaders, question me, ask me questions, ask questions of your medical doctor. But in all this crazy that's going on, just step back, take a breath, and let's look at what's going on and what are good answers, what are bad answers, what's the reality of what we need to do. Because it's one of those things that there's actually a thing on the CDC website. It says that if you've been tested positive for the antibodies for COVID, that in reality, you could have just caught a common cold, because there's a common cold that has a COVID virus that's part of it. And so if you've noticed lately, they're not talking about deaths anymore. They're talking about cases. Why? Because they can keep scaring you. They can keep making you react because of cases. You know, I know they just said on the radio yesterday for Knoxville, it's like we've had our first death in like 2 months. We were at 5 deaths in Knox County forever, and we just had our 6th one, and yet they're talking about how all these cases are going up, and it's going up, and it's going up, but we're not talking about deaths. But the thing is medicine tries to mimic what your immune system already does, right? So think about this. If you're a medical doctor and you want to manipulate somebody's immune system, you want them to get your body, that if it encounters the coronavirus, that it's able to fight it off. Well, guess what? What do you think the 60% of the people that have asymptomatic test positive? Their body's done what it's supposed to. For the majority of people, they're going to be fine. And so it's one of those things. Just realize that the purpose of the social distancing and the mask and all of that wasn't to stop the numbers. It wasn't to make it less. I mean, the virus, you cannot separate yourself from the microbiome world. We're going to be exposed to that, and it's going to run its course. It's going to go through. You're going to see it someday or another, and you're going to have to deal with it one way or the other. The whole purpose of all of the stuff they did originally was just not to overload the hospitals. They were trying to slow it down. But like I said, you're not hearing about the deaths. They're not talking about deaths because I think they just want to keep people in fear. So just keep that in mind. That's my 2 cents worth. If you got questions, if you got things you guys want to talk about, hey, message us and point that on in there. Obviously I've got a different approach to health. We take a different perspective, and what we look at is, it's kind of like your medical doctor is kind of like the fire department. They're great at putting out fires. They're great at saving lives, but they don't know anything about rebuilding a house. And when you're ready to rebuild a house, you got to call in a specialist. And the same thing, when it comes to your health care, your medical doctor is the fire department. If your health is in crisis, they're the best ones to go to. Thank God for them, and they can do amazing things. But they don't know anything about rebuilding the house. They don't know how to build health, and they don't look at the things that we look at. So if you want to be more proactive, if you're concerned about the state of your immune system, we actually can test it. There's a lab test that we can run, that we can look at your natural killer cells, your CD4, CD8 cells, and we can see what kind of condition your immune system is. Because if you need to be worried, you need to be worried, and you need to take steps and actions to counteract that, and we can help with that. So, but hey, if you want to learn more about our approach, next Tuesday night we are doing a free webinar. It's our approach to inflammation. I put the link in the title with this. There's no cost for it. And just so you know, I'm not selling anything. There's no magic herb that's going to make you healthy. So there's nothing you can buy. But that link is in there. So I'd love to have you guys come join us. If you know anybody that's been struggling with their health and they're looking for answers, please pass this on to them. Like and share this. Also, we always have things on our Liberty Chiropractic page. So be sure and like and follow that as well. I appreciate all you guys being on here. Have a great week. Hey, I hope you guys have a great and safe 4th of July, celebrating our independence, people who question their authorities. And I appreciate you guys. I love you. We'll talk to you soon.